Before we get into Miller's training, I want to explain the concept and some rules behind it. So in this case, I'm going to use a strategy and a method called the marker training. Marker training is where I mark my desired behavior followed by a reward. A marker can be anything from a clicker to a word. If you use a word, you want it to be short, quick, and sweet, like a yes, or a yip, or a yay, or a wow, for examples. Think of it as X marks the spot. You're marking that behavior. It communicates to the dog that they've done something right. You're marking when your dog has achieved that desired behavior. By marking a behavior, you're communicating to them that they've done something right. So it's like saying, you did a good job, which is your marker, followed by a treat, which represents, here is your paycheck for it. Now remember, the paycheck comes in several different currencies and several different values. Each reward holds a different value level. For an example, a behavior I'm trying to achieve inside the house might be a lower value than that exact behavior that I'm trying to achieve outside of the house, which may require an increase in value. For an example, if I'm requesting the dog to do something a little bit more difficult or a little bit more advanced, I might have to pay higher for it. Or if I'm requesting the dog to do something inside and he's successful at it, it might be a lower value than if I asked for that request outside, which is going to be more challenging and more difficult, which will also require a higher pay. There's 2 rules you must follow when using the marker training method. 1, every marker must equal a reward. If you accidentally mark, you still follow through with the reward. 2, if you do not have a reward, you do not mark. And also note, this marking reward method isn't forever. It is to start a communication with your dog. It is to develop and create behaviors. So here are some general dog training rules and guidelines. I'm going to use the word cue instead of command because it's just nicer and softer. So you want to use and say your cue one time, not multiple times. For an example, not sit, 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 sit. Instead, sit. Otherwise, your dog's going to be under the impression that you have to say it 4 times before they will actually comply. Number 2, have a strong visual cue to go with it. So, back to sit, have a visual that goes with it, like sit or sit or sit. It can be anything you want it to be. Another little tip is don't make it a moving cue like sit or sit or sit. Make it simple. Rule number 3, plan your training. Each cue should have 1 visual and verbal, each one different from another. So a sit versus a stay versus a down. Everything should be different from each other. Stay very, very consistent with each visual and verbal cue. Rule number 4. If they can't master it inside the home, there is no way they are going to be able to master it outside of the home. Number 5. When you are practicing inside the home, practice both on leash and off leash so they get the hang of how all of their environments go. Number 6, every little thing is a new environment to your dog. So every time you shift your body language, you've created a new environment for your dog. Every time you change to a different room, you've changed the environment for your dog. Master each internal environment, slowly, gradually go into external environments like a driveway or a backyard patio before the real life. Again, it's about setting your dog up for success, setting you up to set your dog up for success, and live happily ever after. Why do I do this? It's all for the pets. I'm Christy Delano with All for Pets.